calculus students. This is a little video on the Pythagorean identity exercise from Khan Academy for those of you that need help with it. Here are some little notes on the board. Here are the two things that you will need to do the Pythagorean identity exercise. I'm sorry, this video might be a little jumpy. It's just me. I don't have anyone to shoot this video for me. So here's the two things you need. I'll circle in red. The big Pythagorean identity is sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So if you take sine of an angle and you square that amount, plus you take cosine of the same angle and you square that amount, when you add them up, you'll get 1. Now, here's the second thing you need to know. Here are the 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what you need to know is in the first quadrant, cosine and sine are both positive. In the second quadrant, just sine is positive. In the third quadrant, cosine and sine are both negative. And in the fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. So what we're going to do is 2 problems like from the Khan exercise, 1 and 2. The 2 things we'll need is first to get the value that they're asking us for, and then to determine if it's positive or negative. So here we go. Number 1, if your angle, that's called theta sub 1, that little 1 here at the bottom, doesn't have anything to do with math, it's just indicating a first angle. So theta sub 1 is in quadrant 1, and cosine of the angle is 3/8, and they want you to find sine of that angle exactly. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write the Pythagorean identity. Okay. What they told me is that cosine is 3/8, so I'm going to pop it right in for cosine. So here is sine squared of theta plus, now in cosine, I'm gonna put cosine in right there. They told me it's 3/8. There we go. And let's not forget to square it. And that will equal 1. There we go. All we did was pop in cosine. All right, let's do some math. Let's square 3/8. There we go. All I did was square 3/8, and I'm trying to solve for sine. So I'm first going to get sine squared alone by subtracting a 9/64 from both sides. There we go. Let's do that math. So sine squared equals 1 minus 9/64. Okay, I'm going to make my 1 64/64. Just makes it a little easier to do my math. There we go. So 1 is 64/64 minus 9/64. Good. That means that sine squared is 55/64. There we go. Just a little math there. Then what they asked us to do is for sine. So we have to take the square root, and we won't forget our positive or negative on the front. Now the square root of 55 is not perfect, so I'm just going to keep it. The square root of 64 I can do, that is an 8. Now all I have to do is decide if sine is positive or negative. It can't be both. Let's take a look. Now our original angle is in quadrant 1. Let's go to quadrant 1. In quadrant 1, sine is positive. There we go. That's how I know which to pick. There we go. Now, so that is our exact answer for sine. It's a positive square root of 55 over 8, right? So Khan Academy won't take a decimal. It wants that exact answer there. Okay, let's try another one. Theta sub 2 is in quadrant 2. And sine of theta sub 2 is 2/11, and they want you to find cosine of theta sub 2 exactly. Let's do the same thing we did Let's write the Pythagorean formula. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. There we go. They told us that sine is 2 11ths. So right there in that circle, kind of, I'm going to put 2 11ths. There we go. Let's not forget the squared. Okay? Plus cosine squared equals 1. There we go. Let's first square 4 over 121 plus cosine squared of theta equals 1. There we go. Let's get cosine squared alone by subtracting 4 over 121 from both sides. There we go. Let's do a little math. Let's call this 1 minus 4 over 121. Let's make that 121 over 121. Hey, that's still 1, right? And then let's subtract. So that would make cosine squared 117 over 121. And of course, we're going to take the square root, and we're not going to forget our plus or minus. Right? Plus or minus. Now, the square root of 117 is not perfect. The square root of 121 is 11. There we go. Now, let's decide if cosine is positive or negative. Let's go back to the instructions. It says theta sub 2 is in quadrant 2. Let's go to quadrant 2 and see if cosine is positive or negative. Let's go to quadrant 2. Take a look. Cosine is negative. There we go. That's how we know our answer is negative, and that's what we're going to put into Khan Academy. Hope that helps. Let me know what questions you have on the Pythagorean identity exercise. Thank you.